the people that I've observed who are the happiest and who are the most fulfilled and who feel the most alive when I come across them, who really feel like they're living in a visceral experience as a human being on this earth and are present to the moment, are people that have a strong element and desire to serve other people in their lives. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of ShiShi Meditations. And today I want to talk about a topic known as hedonic tolerance. Now, some of you guys may have heard about hedonic tolerance, and it's basically the concept that whenever you single-mindedly pursue pleasure for pleasure's sake, the return on your investment of energy and time that you get from that pleasure starts to go down. So basically you start to get diminishing returns as you continue to pursue more and more pleasure. And a really easy way to understand this is what's very commonly happens with drug addicts. So let's say somebody is addicted to heroin. The first time that they try heroin, they might experience an incredibly euphoric high, a feeling that is unlike anything that they've ever felt, and it's just total bliss and ecstasy. And basically the way that people become addicted to not just hard drugs like heroin, but everything from sex to food to even people who are workaholics is they get some sort of emotional payoff from the action, and then they continue to do the action with the expectation that that emotional payoff will either stay the same as when they first had it or get stronger and stronger and stronger. And in drug terms, this is called chasing the dragon. That's like a term that's basically used to describe drug addicts who are constantly chasing that first feeling, that first high that they got. And every time that they get high or shoot up or whatever it is, it gets less and less. The feeling gets less and less and less. But at that point, maybe they're too addicted that even if they can logically understand that it's no longer giving them the emotional payoff, or even if they can logically understand that the emotional payoff does not outweigh the negatives and the side effects and the aftermath, they can't do it because at that point they have either a physical, chemical, or psychological addiction. So I was thinking about this idea of hedonic tolerance, and obviously, I used a pretty extreme example with a heroin addict, but it really applies to pretty much everything. Like if you just completely devote yourself to just total hedonism and gluttony and completely living for the moment, so you stop going to the gym and you just become a sex addict, or you just watch porn all the time and you don't take care of your body, you don't take care of yourself, and you just sit around watching Netflix, the initial high that you got, emotional high that you get from the relaxation of kicking off your shoes and watching Netflix after a long day, for example, or of having sex with someone, or the dopamine hit that you get when you watch pornography, or any of these things, or even eating food, the more you do those things, the less that that dopamine hit that you get affects you, and the more your brain gets trained to wanting more, because it basically gets desensitized to the stimulus, whatever that stimulus might be. And that's really the science behind hedonic tolerance. And so I was thinking about this, and at first it might seem like kind of a depressing insight, because it means that no matter what we pursue in terms of pleasure, all of our pursuits of pleasure eventually are going to have diminishing returns. And when you pursue pleasure from a self-centered way, then no matter how much that initial first high might have made you feel good, eventually it's going to get lower and lower and lower. But I do think that there's an exception to this rule of hedonic tolerance, and that is the pleasure that you receive from helping and serving and giving to others. When you serve others, when you do things with somebody else's best interest in mind, when you truly act from a place of selflessness, this principle of hedonic tolerance no longer applies when you truly act from a place of selflessness. When you truly act from a place of selflessness. And I think that's really, really incredible, because it's essentially giving us a clue about how to spend our lives, basically. People spend their entire life slipping into hedonism and gluttony and eventually just getting depressed and miserable. And the people that I've observed who are the happiest and who are the most fulfilled and who feel the most alive when I come across them, who really feel like they're living in a visceral experience as a human being on this earth and are present to the moment, are people that have a strong element and desire to serve other people in their lives. So I wanted to make this quick video about hedonic tolerance and how I believe that the antidote to hedonic tolerance, the one form of pleasure that is immune to this idea of hedonic tolerance, this idea that your pleasure will have diminishing returns, is selfless service of others and the pleasure that you get from engaging in that. So I hope this video gave you some food for thought, and until tomorrow, peace.